My son's teacher called saying he's been absent for 3 weeks. He's been going to school every single day. Mrs. Hoffman's voice carried that particular blend of concern and accusation. Mr. Brennan, we need to discuss Ethan's attendance. He hasn't been in class for 3 weeks now, and we've received no communication from you about extended illness or family emergency. This is highly irregular. I was standing in my garage organizing tools. I'd watched him get on the bus at 7:15 that very morning. Backpack slung over his shoulder, headphones in his ears. There must be a mistake, I said. Ethan goes to school every day. I put him on the bus myself. The silence on the other end stretched long. When Mrs. Hoffman spoke again, her voice had shifted from accusatory to confused. Mr. Brennan, I mark attendance every morning at 8:30. Ethan's seat has been empty for 15 consecutive school days. Are you certain he's getting on the bus? My heart started hammering. Of course Ethan was getting on the bus. I watched the doors close behind him every morning. Watched the bus pull away from our curb. Confirmed with him every afternoon that school was fine. Homework was manageable. Nothing unusual to report. I'll look into this and call you back, I said, already heading inside to grab my keys. The school was a 20-minute drive through suburbs that all looked identical. Mrs. Hoffman met me in the main office, a woman in her 50s with reading glasses hanging from a chain. Except she looked surprised now. Thank you for coming so quickly, she said, gesturing toward a conference room. I've pulled Ethan's attendance records and spoken with his other teachers. The situation is consistent across all his classes. She spread printouts across the table. Attendance sheets marked with red X's dating back 3 weeks. September 5th through September 26th. Every single day marked absent. My hands were shaking as I picked up the first sheet. This doesn't make sense. Ethan leaves the house at 7:15 every morning. He comes home at 3:30 every afternoon. He talks about school, about assignments, about his friends. How can he be marked absent when he's clearly attending? Mrs. Hoffman's expression shifted from confusion to something closer to concern. Mr. Brennan, children Ethan's age are remarkably creative when they want to avoid something. Is there anything happening at home that might make him want to skip school? Bullying, academic struggles, social anxiety? I thought about Ethan over the past month. Quiet as always, but not unusually withdrawn. Completing homework at the kitchen table every evening. Everything normal, everything routine. Nothing I'm aware of, I said. And if he's not coming to school, where is he going for 7 hours every day? That was the question that made Mrs. Hoffman's face go pale. Because if Ethan was getting on the bus but not arriving at school, something was very wrong. She picked up the desk phone and dialed a 3-digit extension. This is Hoffman. I need to speak with transportation about Route 23. Yes, it's urgent. The transportation coordinator arrived 10 minutes later. A heavyset man named Carl, whose job was tracking every bus route in the district. He pulled up Route 23 on his tablet, scrolling through driver logs and GPS data. Bus 23 runs the Northwest Subdivision route. Driver is Paul Hendricks, been with the district 12 years. Clean record. He tapped the screen. According to the log, your son's stop had pickups every day for the past 3 weeks. Driver marked him as boarding. Mrs. Hoffman leaned forward. So the bus driver confirms Ethan got on the bus, but Ethan never arrived at school. Where did he go between the bus and the building? Carl's fingers moved across the tablet. Let me check the route. The GPS data showed Route 23 following its normal path every morning. No deviations, no unexplained stops. The bus arrived on time and en route every single day. This doesn't make sense, Carl muttered. If the kid got on at his stop and the bus came straight here, he should be in class. Mrs. Hoffman's voice was tight. Unless he's getting off before the bus reaches school. That possibility hung in the air, heavy with implications. Carl scrolled back through the GPS logs, looking for any stop that wasn't on the official route. Found nothing. The bus doesn't stop between your son's pickup and the school. Not even for traffic lights on this route. I felt reality tilting. Ethan was getting on the bus. The bus was coming straight to school. But Ethan wasn't arriving at school. The logical impossibility of it crashed against the evidence in front of me. I need to talk to the bus driver, I said. Right now. Paul Hendricks was on his lunch break in the driver's lounge. He looked up when we entered. Paul, this is David Brennan, Carl said. His son Ethan is on your route. We need to ask you some questions about pickups over the past 3 weeks. Paul set down his sandwich. Ethan Brennan. Yeah, I know him. What's going on? I kept my voice level. Ethan's teachers say he hasn't been to school in 3 weeks, but I watch him get on your bus every morning and your logs show you picked him up. Where is he going? Paul's confusion looked genuine. He's going to school. I drop him off here every morning with the other kids. He gets off the bus and walks toward the building with everyone else. Mrs. Hoffman's voice cut through. What do you mean walks toward the building? Do you watch Student Center? Paul shook his head. I'm not required to. Once they're off the bus on school property, my responsibility ends. They head to the entrance and I pull out to start the afternoon route prep. Carl pulled up the bus camera footage on his tablet. He scrolled back 3 weeks and pulled up the morning of September 5th. What I saw made my stomach drop. Full story is linked below or on my channel.